Well, good morning and welcome back to Kids Zone. I am so glad you guys are here today as we're going to learn about somebody new in the New Testament in the story of Jesus. We met him last time. His name is Saul. How all of the people who kept all of the rules, Saul was the best at it. I'm good at being good, he would tell you. He was very proud and he was very good, but he wasn't very nice. Saul hated anyone who loved Jesus. He traveled around looking for them. He wanted to catch them and put them in prison, and he wanted everyone to forget all about Jesus. He didn't believe Jesus was the rescuer, and he didn't believe that Jesus was alive either. You see, Saul had never met Jesus. So one day, Jesus was going to meet Saul. Saul was on his way to Damascus when suddenly a bright light flashed like lightning. It was brighter than the sun. It was too bright, and Paul shielded his eyes and fell to the ground. He heard a loud voice. It was too loud. It gave him a headache. "Saul, Saul," said the voice, "why are you fighting me?" "Lord," Saul answered, "who are you?" "I am Jesus," said the voice. "When you hurt my friends, you are hurting me too." Saul's whole body was shaking. He was so afraid. Jesus said, "Go to the city and I will tell you what to do." And when Saul opened his eyes, he couldn't see. It didn't make sense. His helpers that were with him had to hold his hand and lead him like a little child. Saul was blind for 3 days, and yet it was as if he was seeing for the first time. Meanwhile, there was a man called Ananias who loved Jesus. Jesus came to him in a dream and said, "Go to Saul and pray for him, and I will make him see again." Ananias knew all about Saul, and he was afraid. He knew how Saul hated Jesus' followers. "Lord, please don't make me do this. I can't go. He's here to hurt us." But Jesus said, "Saul is the one I've chosen to tell the whole world who I am." So Ananias went to Saul. "Brother Saul," Ananias said, "it was Jesus you met on the road." And Ananias prayed for Saul, and suddenly Saul could see again, but he was seeing everything very differently now. His heart had changed. He wasn't mean anymore, and he even changed his name from Saul to Paul, which means small and humble, the very opposite of how he'd been before, which was prideful. Do you know what Ananias' name means? It means the Lord is full of grace. Grace is another word for gift, which is funny because that's what Paul's message was all about from that moment in his life on. He would tell people it's not about keeping all the rules perfectly. You don't have to be good at being good for God to love you. You just have to believe what Jesus has done and follow him. Because it's not about trying, it's about trusting. It's not about the rules, it's about grace. God's free gift that cost him everything. What happened to Paul? He used to be all about keeping all those rules perfectly. Well, he met Jesus, and Jesus gave him a new name and a new job. He called himself a servant and traveled everywhere telling everyone about Jesus. He even got shipwrecked 3 times in his travels, and he ended up in prison multiple times, but still he would write letters saying, God loves us. Nothing can ever, not ever separate us from that never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love that God showed us through Jesus. And so it was, just as God promised Abraham that dark night all those years before. The family of God's children grew and grew as people believed in Jesus, until one day they would come to number more than the stars in the sky. We'll take some time with the discussion questions about Paul this week, and I'll see you guys next time.